Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Career Launcher. My name is Naveen, and today we'll be looking at LRDI basics. This is part 25 of this series. So we have done 24 LRDI sets as of now. This is the 25th one. So let's look at the set today. So based on the given data, solve the questions that follow. So we have got four questions. So five teams, NOID and A, played a local cricket tournament where each team played against every other team exactly once. A win results in 3 points awarded to the winning team. A tie results in 1 point awarded to each of the two teams, and a loss results in no points awarded to the losing team. The following table gives the sum of the points awarded to given pairs of teams at the end of the tournament. It is also known that there were a total of 3 draw matches in the tournament. And we are given the teams, the combo that N and O together have the total points it shows together. They have 20, N and D together have 14, N and A together have 11, N and I together have 12. And that's it. And then we are given these 5 questions. So how many pairs of team, the pair or pairs of team have had equal number of draws in the tournament, who won the match between A and D, how many of the given 5 teams did not win any match, the match between A and I resulted in a what, and who was at the bottom of the point table at the end of the tournament. So if you look at these 5 questions, the first two are theta ones, the next two have an option which says cannot be determined, and then the last one is a definite one. So in the worst possible scenario, we will be able to solve at least 3 questions, because first, second, and fifth, they are going to be definite ones. For third and fourth, we have to be a little careful. So I'll give you guys 3 to 4 minutes to go ahead and attempt this. Okay. So basically, what you have to do is figure out which team scored how many points, which team played against which team, and who won that match, how many draws happened. So we should basically know the result of each and every match that are played amongst these teams. So let's see how many of you can get there. How many of you are able to do this? So this is a little tricky question. There are certain initial part that you have to solve in order to get to the result of each match that you can figure out. So initially you'll have to calculate few things, and all that you can do using the points table that is given here. Okay, so I'll give you 4 to 5 minutes to go about this. Let me know once you are done in the chat. No one? Okay. Chalo, let's give this a try. So we have got these 5 teams, NOI and D and A. They are playing a local tournament where each team played against every other team exactly once. So N played against O, N played against D, N played against A, N played against I, A played against D, A against O, and so on. So basically, since we have 5 teams, these 5 teams will result in 5C2, that is 10 matches. Out of those 10 matches, we are given the total sum of points for a pair of teams, some specific ones. Now, whatever would be the number of uh, points that N is going to score, or O is going to score, I is going to score, D is going to score, and A is going to score. These total points should come from the total number of wins. And since winning team gets 3 points and a tie results in 1 point, so it's going to be total number of wins into 3 plus loss results in no points, so we should not include the losses. And we were told that there were total of 3 draw matches in the tournament. Now, if there were total of 3 draw matches in the tournament, that means when 2 teams are going to play, each one will be awarded 1 point, right? So since there are 3 draws, right, D's value is 3 basically, and each team gets 1 point. So in each drawn match, there will be 2 points awarded. So it's going to be 3 into 2. Now, since out of 10 matches, we know that there are going to be 3 draw matches. So that means the remaining 7 will result in a win-loss. So the value of win here turns out to be 7. So this turns out to be 21 plus 6, that is 27 points. And since if we add all of this, this is going to give us 4 times N plus O plus I plus D plus A. And that is going to be 20, 30, 40, 50, 57 points. If we rearrange, we get 3N plus N plus O plus I plus D plus A. And that is going to be 57, where we know that the sum of the points among these 5 teams, it results in a total of 27. So if this is going to be 27, the value of N will turn out to be 2. That means the total points N has is 10. The total number of points that O has is going to be, if N gets 10, O gets 10 as well. If N gets 10, D gets 4. If N gets 10, A gets 1. And if N gets 10, I gets 2. So these are the total number of points that each of these 5 teams are going to get. Now, these points that they get, and since each team has to play 4 matches, what would be the result of such matches? How can we generate a 10? And please do remember that since there are going to be a total of 7 wins, so 7 win-loss matches basically. So we should have total of 7 times 3s, right? 3, 3, 6, and 7. And then we are supposed to have 1, 1, 3 times because there are 3 draws. So basically 3, 0 will be written 7 times and 3 times 1, 1. So if you look at 10, this can happen when we take 3, 3, 3, and 1. That's the only possibility. If you look at the next 10, again, this happens to be 3, 3, 3, and 1. 2 can only happen with 1 and 1. 4 can happen with 3 and 1. And this one will happen with 1. So if you count the total number of ones here, you will find 6 of them. That means 3 pairs of teams were awarded 1 mark each. That means there were 3 draws. If you count the number of 3s here, that's a total of 7. That's exactly what we needed, right? Okay, so what we are now going to do is we are going to utilize this, all of this data in a matrix. Why matrix? Because when you in games and tournament based questions, when you have to figure out which team is going to play against which team, the easiest interpretation and the best representation is a matrix format. Okay, so we will draw a matrix, where the teams are going to be named as N, O, I, D, and A, and then N, O, I, D, and A. The cells that are not colored or not shaded, those are the matches that are supposed to be played. So this is the match between N and O. This is the match between D and I. This is the match between A and N. This is the match between D and A. So there are supposed to be a total of 10 matches that we need to play. And if you count the number of cells here, you'll find that this is a total of 10. So this is the representation that helps us understand things easiest. Now, if you remember, the value of N, as in the number of points N has, is 10, which comes from 3 wins and a loss. If you remember, O is going to be 10, which will come again from 3 wins and a loss. If you look at D, it has got a 4 point, so it comes from a win and a loss. If you look at A, that's 1 point. It will only come from, sorry, not loss, a draw. If you look at A, it will come from a draw. And I, there are 2 points that will come from 2 draws. Now, since I is going to draw against pair of teams, so that 1 will come from either A, D, O, or N. Okay. So next step is to figure out which team, the draw happened between which pair of teams. Okay, and the 3 wins of N and O each, those wins came from which particular teams, right? Okay, so for that scenario, what we can do now is we can try to understand that what combination will that happen. Okay, so the 3 wins that we are going to get, and then 2 draws and 2 losses, and we are supposed to find between 3 wins okay. So we'll have to use a little bit of in-depth reasoning here. Okay, hit and trial not going to happen. See, each team is supposed to play 4 matches. So if you look at N and O, these 2 teams, they both have played 4 matches, out of which each of these 2 teams, they have won 3 of them, and there has been a 1 match that has been drawn, right? So there is also going to be a match between N and O. So if between the match between N and O, if it results in a win or a draw, in a win and a loss result, then if N won that match between N and O, then O should lose, but O didn't lose any of the matches. It won 3 of them and there was 1 draw. Same is true for N. Vice versa, the match between N and O, if O won that match, then N should lose. But N has played 4 matches and he did not lose any of them. He won 3 of them and there was 1 match which was drawn. So basically, the match between N and O did not result in a win-loss. It resulted in a draw. So basically, the match between N and O, it resulted in a draw. So I'm going to put a hyphen to denote it resulted in a draw. Okay. Once that is done, so that means the 3 matches of N won. So we will write down N there to represent that N won those. The 3 matches of O won. So O is going to win these 3 matches. Okay. Now, if you look at I with A and D, I has to, the I 2 matches need to be drawn, and those 2 matches cannot happen among themselves. So each of the matches should come from some other team. So this 1 draw of I must have come from A, and another draw of I must have come from D. So between I and D, this was a drawn match, this was a drawn match. This 3 is left, as in 1 win of D is left. So the match only that is left for D, where he has not won so far, is this last cell. So D is supposed to win that match against A. So D wins it. I hope this part is clear, right? Okay. So let's do one thing. Let's now look at the questions. So first question is, how many pairs of team had equal number of draws in the tournament? So we can see that N has one draw, O has one draw, D has one draw, A has one draw, right? So if you're looking at equal pairs of teams, does it mean that we have to see that both the teams must have played one draw each? So basically two, right? Because I has two draws. I and A, I cannot say this is the pair which has equal number of draws. I and A, they both played the match which was drawn, right? So it's going to be, since there are four teams with one draw each, so there are going to be two pairs. Right? Next one is, who won the match between A and D? So the match between A and D won. Next one is, how many of the given five teams did not win any match? So we are basically trying to see which letter or letters are not written here. We can see N or D is written, I and A are missing. So those are going to be two teams that did not win any match. The match between A and I resulted in a, so the match between A and I, it resulted in a draw. Who was the bottom of the points table at the end of the tournament? So the lowest point was obtained by A. So that's going to be option D. I hope this part is clear. I hope there is no doubt in this, right? So basically in this particular set, it was very important for us to figure out how many matches are supposed to be played. Since it was given 3 draw matches happened, so that means the remaining 7 matches ended in a win or a loss. Then if we add all the given points, it results in 4 times N plus O plus I plus D plus A, which is going to give us a 57. And we know that since there are 7 matches that ends in a win, that end in a win, so we will have 21 points from those 7 matches and 3 matches that end in a draw. So there are going to be 6 matches, 6 points from those 3 matches. So total 27 points hona chahiye, N plus I plus D plus A ka. But we see 57. So 27 will take care of this Noida matches, Noida teams. 3N will result in N is equal to 10. Once we get the number of points each team has scored, from those points, we can now further figure out how many matches, what was the end result of each of the matches each team has played. So N has scored total of 10 points. 10 can only happen with 3-3-3-1. Otherwise, if we take 1-1-1 or 3-3-1-1-1-1, so that's not going to happen. Because if N is going to have 4 ones, that means he is going to draw 4 matches. But in the question is given, no, there are only 3 draw matches. Same is true for O. Then the representation is required, where we can figure out the the end result of every match. Once we are done with that, then only we can go ahead and solve the questions. Okay. So, in case if you guys have any question, please feel free to ask. Anything that anybody would like to ask? In case if you do not have a question now, but if you have a question later, feel free to comment below. And please make sure that you subscribe to the channel and like the video and share it with your friends. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. I'll see you again with another session soon. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.